All right, we'll get started. We'd like to welcome Rory McIlroy into the interview room here at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He's making his season debut on the PGA Tour and his second start at this event. Rory, welcome back. If we can get some comments on the week ahead.
Yeah, good to be back at Pebble Beach. It's been a while. I played this event in 2018, played the US Open here in 2019. That was my last time here. Course obviously plays a little different this time of the year than in June. So, yeah, just trying to refamiliarize myself with the golf course a little bit. I played Pebble today. I'm planning to play Spyglass tomorrow, depending on how the weather is. But it's good to be back. You know, it's a different format, and you know, having most of the best players in the world here is a really good thing for the tournament. And I'm excited for what's hopefully going to be a great week, and hopefully the weather cooperates, and we'll go from there. But yeah, good to be back.
And obviously the state of your game is very good with recent success, but just talk a little bit about that coming into the week.
Yeah, 2 good weeks in Dubai. It's always been a comfortable place and a comfortable way for me to start the year. I've had a good battle with Tommy the first week, and learned a lot from that final day, and tried to put some of that into practice the following week, and was able to get a win there. So yeah, obviously a great way to start the year. 2 weeks played, 2 times in contention, and to get a win early on is always a nice confidence booster, and a nice way to come into a pretty busy stretch here going sort of into the spring and beyond.
All right, thank you for that. We'll open it up to questions. You'll raise your hand. Okay, yeah, over on the left, and then we'll come up to Cam.
Hi, Rory. You were talking about the weather. I just wanted to know, what are some of the trouble holes during this competition that you're going to have to really worry about, especially with the rain that's going to be flowing in during the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think all the holes that are exposed and right on the coastline. So, there's not many that aren't, I guess. But I'd say that 7, 8, 9, 10 stretch is going to be pretty gnarly if the weather is what we're expecting. So, it can change, and hopefully it does. But yeah, I think we're going to have to just knuckle down and get through some of those tough stretches.
All right, let's go Cameron.
Hey, Rory. LeBron and Steph Curry got into a double overtime game over the weekend, and they spoke sort of glowingly of each other, and it's a very elite group that knows what it takes to sort of play at that level year in, year out. Do you look at that and say, oh, yeah, I kind of know what they're talking about, and how do you sort of keep it fresh and keep the motivation? I think you're going into your 15th season here.
Yeah, I think it's my 15th season on the PGA Tour. I've been a pro. So I was like half of 07, but so if I just go full seasons, I think I'm going into my 18th full season as a professional. So basically over half of my lifetime, I've been a pro golfer. So you need to keep it fresh. You need to try to keep inventing ways to motivate yourself, and but I don't find that overly difficult. I think there's always things that you want to achieve and things that you can get better at, and trying to have a growth mindset to goal set and try to achieve certain things is something that I've just learned to do as my career has progressed. And but I'm always I think just grateful for the opportunity to do what I love to do, and as long as I wake up every day and I think that way, then I think that's probably a part of the reason why my longevity and consistency has been what it's been.
All right, let's go over to the far right, and then we'll come over to Rex.
Hi, Rory. You've obviously started the year off very strong, and one of the things that we follow that you've changed is the golf ball. What's that process been like? Because you've played the same golf ball for a number of years now. Have you found the new one has performed for you? And what was it like going through the process of changing to the new one?
Yeah, I thought it was a good opportunity to at least test it in Dubai. You've got desert conditions. There's not a ton of wind. It's a place that I'm comfortable with. So Obviously tested it a little bit at home. Liked that it was a touch of a lower launch than the golf ball I was previously playing. And then a touch lower spin as well. And it was a great test those 2 weeks in Dubai because the greens got pretty firm at the weekend at both courses. So it was a good test to still make sure that the mid irons were spinning enough to go into greens and still be able to hold greens. And it's fast. It's a really, really fast golf ball, and definitely feel like I've picked up a little bit of speed with it, especially off the tee. And it's a little, it's funny. It's a lower spinning ball, but it feels a touch softer to me around the greens. So I like that feel of it. But I think the sort of lower launch with the short irons, and then the little bit more of a softer feel around the greens was the sort of the big selling point to me. And as you said, it's worked pretty well the first two starts of the year.
Is that mid iron control like probably one of the most, other than the short game, probably one of the most important things for you?
Yeah, I like to play a low spin ball, but not so low spin that when you're hitting a 6 iron or something into a green that you can't hold it. So, but I also like that, a very comfortable shot for me at the minute is sort of hitting this like hold off sort of cut, and the fact that it doesn't spin too much when I hit that shot I really like, because I've always had this fear with whatever golf ball that I've played that if I hit that shot that there's a tendency to come up short because it spins a little too much. But I don't really have that fear with this golf ball, which is a really nice feeling.
All right, let's go right up here to Rex, and then we'll go Alan and then Dave.
Rory, I know you stepped down from the policy board, but you still seem to be involved in the decision-making process on some level. And there was a meeting last night. There will be a meeting again tonight. What are your expectations coming out, if any?
I wouldn't say I'm involved in the decision-making process at all, really. But I just hope they get it done. I know that they were supposed to vote on it on Sunday night, and then there was a delay. They were supposed to vote on it last night, and there was a delay. I feel like this thing could have been over and done with months ago. And I think just for all of our sakes, the sooner we sort of get out of it and we have a path forward, the better.
When you say vote on it, I'm just trying to clarify here. You're talking about some sort of agreement between the PGA Tour, PIF, and SSG, all three together, or just? No,
I think the PGA Tour and SSG, I think is I think, from my understanding, again, I'm speaking off not as much knowledge as I used to have.
All right, let's go to Alan and then Dave behind him.
Rory, going to the back to the weeks in Dubai, what did you learn specifically from the first tournament that you were able to apply in the second one?
I think there was a couple of things in terms of just game management. There was a couple of left misses off the tee that I still had the week after, especially down the stretch on Sunday at the Dubai Desert Classic. But I feel like I sort of got a really good feeling with the driver to not hit that shot. It bit me on the last hole the previous week, and it could have bitten me again coming down the stretch. But I stood up on 17 and 18. And hit two really good tee shots when I needed to, so I got a ton of confidence from that, especially with the sort of feeling that I had in my swing. But that was really it. I felt like for the most part I played. I made so many mistakes the week before. I think I made a quad and 3-putted from 3 feet that final day. Hit that water ball on the last, and I still had a 1-shot lead playing the last. So I think it was just about trying to eradicate some of the mistakes that I'd been making. So just a little bit of sort of course management, and it's going to be that way. I'd only played one competitive tournament in like the last 3 months leading up to it. So I think a little bit of sloppiness creeped in, and just I guess trying to sort of get that out of my game on the second week, and it felt like I did a better job of it.
All right, let's go.
Can I just a quick follow-up? You said in the past that sometimes you watch highlights of your victories just for inspiration and maybe to draw something from that. Will you ever go back and watch a tournament that you didn't win to see what you can glean?
There's been times, I think even certain shots on certain holes that whether it's like a certain swing or is there a certain tendency, but I think, like most people, I'd much rather watch the good stuff than the bad.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's actually go to Ben here, and then we'll get Dave and Ron in the back.
Rory, is it fair to say that golf lends itself to long shot winners more than most, if not all, pro sports? And why or why not?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think there's more parity in golf than maybe some other professional sports. I think it's the way the structure of the game is set up that you can have an amateur play in a professional event and have the chance to win, which I think is an amazing story, and it creates these amazing stories in golf that I think are hard to create with other sports. I mean, you have, Leicester City won the Premier League a few years ago, which was an amazing story, or I'm trying to think, like Emma Raducanu winning the US Open in tennis a few years ago, I thought was an amazing story as well. So you do have them, but I think they're more prevalent in golf just because of the way the structure of golf is and that sort of meritocracy, I guess. And I think that's the amazing thing about this game, that we do have these storylines, and we are able to, instead of Nick Dunlap being in school this week, he's playing with the best players in the world, and his life's completely changed, and that's an amazing story.
All right, we'll go back to Dave and then Ron.
Rory, an odd set of dominoes falling with your TGL being pushed back a year, and then obviously now, today, Terrell jumping over to Live, and just curious, are you kind of numb to these movements now with these guys going over to the other tour?
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, everyone needs to do what's right for them. I had a long talk with Tyrrell on Sunday, completely understood where he was coming from. I've sort of been, I've talked to him quite a bit about it over the past month. And it got to the point where they, negotiated and got to a place where he was comfortable with. And, he has to do what he feels is right for him. So, I'm not going to stand in anyone's way from making money, and if what they deem life-changing money, absolutely. But, I think the delay of TGL was a blessing in disguise. I think 10 months is a long time, especially in the game of golf right now, and, who knows what the landscape's going to look like in 10 months' time. So I think at this point, all I see is opportunity. I certainly think that there's tons of opportunity within the game to do great things, and who knows? Terrell might still play TGL in 10 months' time, depending on what happens.
Yeah, I was going to just follow up. There seemed to be a suggestion that he had committed to TGL. I think it was it your team?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was some discussion that he had to buy his way out of that commitment, or in some way. How did that eventually have to go for him to be released from his TGL commitment? I
don't think that. I mean, I certainly have no knowledge of that, but if I did have any say in that, I wouldn't. Again, I'm not going to stand in someone's way to, he hasn't earned a penny from TGL, so I wouldn't make him pay to get out of anything, and so, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Ron.
Hey, Rory, since you made the decision last year to sort of step away from the business/political side, your success earlier this year would suggest it's had sort of the desired personal effect. I mean, has it had the effect you wanted? And do you sometimes think, should I have done this a little earlier?
Should I never went on the board? I think so. I actually, I think I said this when I did step off. I'm happy being busy. I just like to be busy doing the things that I think are not worth it. I think that's the wrong way to phrase it, but more, I just didn't feel like I could influence things the way I wanted to, and I felt like I was just banging my head against the wall, and it was time for me to step off and sort of concentrate on my own stuff.
All right, let's go to Alex. Back right.
Rory, the discussions you had with Terrell, were they different than they would have been a year ago, first off? And second off, what kind of tenor did they take?
Yeah, I think they're different than a year ago because, we're potentially about to do a deal with PIF, who own the large majority of Live, and sort of hopefully seeing things come back together here at some point. So, yeah, I think the nature of the conversation was probably different than it would have been a year ago. Absolutely. And again, I said to him, just like I said to John, I'm totally supportive of your decision if that's what you feel is the right thing for you. And look, these are guys that I've spent a lot of time with, and I guess I've said this before, but I've come to the realization is I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm here to just try to, especially when I was at the board level, trying to give them the full picture of where things are at and hopefully where things are going to go. They can do with that information what they want, but at the end of the day, I think I'm done with trying to change people's minds and trying to get them to see things a certain way or try to see things through my lens, because that's ultimately not the way the world works. And, these are guys that I respect and that I've spent a lot of time with, and if that's what they feel is the best decision for them, then I'm going to, be supportive of that decision and let them go and do their own thing.
All right, let's take a few more. Let's go to Doug.
In this effort to kind of repair a fractured landscape, do you have an opinion on how that gets done in terms of bringing guys back who cashed in to join with the guys who didn't? And is that difficult?
I think life is about choices. Guys made choices to go and play Live. Guys made choices to stay here. And, if people still have eligibility on this tour and they want to come back and play, or you want to try to do something, let them come back. I mean, I think it's hard to punish people. I don't think there should be a punishment for. I've changed my tune on that because I see where golf is, and I see that having a diminished PGA Tour and having a diminished Live Tour or anything else is bad for both parties. Be much better being together and moving forward together for the good of the game, and that's my opinion of it. So, to me, the faster that we can all get back together and start to play and start to have the strongest fields possible, I think is great for golf.
Is a win here at Pebble or at Riv cheapened by the fact that John and DJ and fill in the blank is not playing that week?
Yeah, I'd like to win here and stand up with a trophy on 18 green and know that I've beaten all of the best players in the world. So, yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anything? All right, Rory, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Best of luck this week.